For part C, this is where I mentioned understanding that percent multiplier lesson is going to make a really big difference, because percent multipliers was really something that we learned in the previous chapter, and I just want to take a quick second to recap what that means. Percent multipliers means that we take 100% plus or minus whatever we're going to increase by, whatever percentage they're going to give us. And then we have to convert that number to a decimal. So if I start thinking about these plans, let me see if I can apply what I learned in the previous chapter and turn these percentage numbers into a percent multiplier, the part that I'll use in the actual equation. I'll start with the annual option. In case you're not too familiar with the word annually, annually is just once a year. Annual means yearly, so annually is once a year. That's referring to option 1. So if I use the structure that I think I'm going to use, that's 100%, that's all the money I have, plus, because we're adding the interest value, interest always increases the value of your account. The percentage that they told us in option 1 was 12% a year, so 12%. And 100% plus 12% is 112%. Now that's not the multiplier. 112% is the percentage, and we hopefully will remember that to convert this to a multiplier, we take its existing decimal point, which is currently at the end of the number right after the 2, and we move it 2 places to the left. So that would put the decimal at 1.12. That's what we call the percent multiplier. Now for all of these, we're going to do the same thing. But even though you might be looking at this going, wait, it's all the same, they're all going to be 1.12, be careful and think about it. Remember we talked about in the previous video the idea of twice annually? That instead of getting 12% once, you're getting 2 smaller 6% payments twice? The 6% is the money that, or the percentage that the bank is using to kick you each payment. So we need to think about the percentage that the bank is actually using if that's the option you're choosing. So 100% always is what we start with, but for twice annually, I'm going to use that 6% number, because if the bank is kicking me 2 smaller payments, they're going to kick me 2 small 6% payments instead. So 100% plus 6%, that's 106%. And if I convert that to a decimal, remember take the decimal, which is currently at the end of the number, and move it 2 places to the left. So that gives me a percent multiplier of 1.06. 1.06. Same thing goes for the third and the fourth options as well. We just need to look back at our previous work and make sure that we understand what percentage the bank is actually going to use in those cases. Quarterly, for instance, is going to kick us a 3% payment because there were 12% divided into 4 quarters, 3% payments that the bank was going to kick us. So 100% plus 3%, that's 103%. Move the decimal 2 places to the left, that gives me a multiplier of 1.03. And then of course in the final option, monthly, we already figured out that that's 1% payments. So I have 100% plus 1%, which is 101%. But if I convert that to a decimal, 1, 2, that means 1.01 is really my multiplier. So make sure you take a moment to understand why those multipliers are what they are. Make sure that that idea makes sense. And then in the next video, we'll put those into an equation so that we can start to be more practical about what these numbers will actually tell us about our money.